Very good morning, it's Jim from maverickstar. Come and join me, guys, as we watch the world deteriorate and crumble before our very eyes. The other day I saw this regarding that terrorist attack that happened in Moscow, and it is claimed that the US had warned Russia of an imminent attack that was about to take place. And there's a lot of things I could say about that, which probably I will do a bit later on in this video, but I want to bring your attention to what happened in Israel on the 7th of October, where none of the intelligence agencies from any country in the world was able to warn Israel of the Hamas rocket attack that was going to take place on the 7th of October, which started off the invasion of Gaza. Think about that. Not one intelligence agency with all their satellites, not the FBI, the CIA, MI5, MI6, Mossad, even themselves, all failed to spot 5,000 rockets being assembled in Gaza, pointing at Israel, and not one of those intelligence organisations warned Israel of that imminent attack. Yet, 4 guys in Russia, apparently from ISIS-K, are about to, commit an atrocity where it's led to over 130 people being shot dead. Obviously the CIA and all the intelligence agencies knew about that little event and was able to even warn in advance Russia, which is an enemy, remember that, of the United States, an enemy considered. The United States and the rest of NATO countries would not be funding Ukraine if they didn't see Russia as the enemy. But yet, even so, they was the enemy considered, Russia. They were warned in advance of this attack. Now, we've heard that there has been, for years now, CIA departments or small units in Ukraine. Where were these terrorists heading back? They was heading back, as Putin says, back towards the Ukraine, and that's why he said this was a Ukrainian involvement. Maybe even. And it's speculation, because we never will have them come out and admit what operations they're doing. Maybe these people were put up to it by the CIA. Just putting that out there. But what I will say is that we are living in a very, very ugly time right now. There are mysteries surrounding lots of things, like the bridge that collapsed in Baltimore. Apparently a ship hit the only part of the structure of the bridge, which would make the whole bridge collapse in the manner it did. And just miraculously, before that happened, the ship had lost power. But then, at the very last minute, managed to regain power. But it was too late, the bridge had collapsed, shutting down one of the major ports. You could easily make conspiracies up about these things. Because if you look at what's happening, in the Red Sea at the moment, with the, Houthis, firing at commercial ships, blocking that trade route. Then a port, obviously a trading port, a major one in the US, has this incident happen involving another ship. And then there was the Evergrande that blocked the Suez Canal. There seems to be, more than one incident which is causing the same effects. And you know what, it's no wonder people say, oh, this is a conspiracy, and things like that happen. But getting back to what happened on October the 7th, not one intelligence agency warned Israel that attack was going to take place. You imagine 5,000 missiles in the opening hour of that attack were launched into Israel, and not one satellite photo, showed that there was a build-up of these rockets being assembled, these launching pads being assembled. It's pretty pretty strange, isn't it? Maybe it was done on purpose. Maybe, you know, they knew that the attack was going to happen, and it was allowed to happen because it would be a precursor or an excuse to do what they've done now. Because let's face it, the whole world's governments, apart from just one or two, are not condemning the actions of Israel. You know, they're going to go into Rafah refugee camp at some point in the next few days and completely decimate it. You know, I've seen a report I was watching, you know, where I was watching actually Joe Rogan discuss this, and I can't remember the other guy's name he was discussing it with, but they was talking about a reporter called Wolf, I think it was, and he was speaking to a Scottish Israeli person who was in charge of an operation that involved, you know, the elimination of an Hamas leader. This Hamas leader was apparently hiding in a refugee camp, and it was okayed to put a bomb on that area where they thought he wasn't confirmed. They never even confirmed that they'd got him, but it involved, you know, injuring and killing over 300 people. They bombed civilians, knowing that there would be massive casualties, knowing that the weapon that they chose to do it would, you know, cause massive injuries to mass amounts of people in a refugee camp, which have been told to get out the north of Gaza, can't stay in the central of Gaza, told to go into the south of Gaza. They end up in a refugee camp, hiding, hoping that they're safe, and then a big bomb goes off and blows, you know, up over 300 people for the sake of one person. And the guy's excuse was, well, this is a typical Hamas strategy to, you know, use innocent people as, you know, public shields, and so therefore it's game on and it's acceptable losses. You know, no one will admit the truth about what has happened in Gaza, and it is genocide. And yet, you know, we are seeing the United States, the United Kingdom, lots of European countries stand behind Israel 100% on this. And, you know, there is a pattern here, and the pattern is breaking laws to justify their actions. That's the pattern. You will see that they will break the law in order to continue to carry out their objections. Where the law is broken, you will see these dark forces. I'm not joking. It's no coincidence that, you know, we have the law being broke to keep Julian Assange in jail in the UK. You know, New York's justice system being abused in order to keep Donald Trump from becoming the next president of the United States. You know, laws being broke with regards to genocide. We're talking international laws, the Geneva Convention. Everywhere you look where the law is being broken in these instances is where you're going to find these dark forces and that cancer. And we can sit by and do nothing about it, or we can try our best to get rid of them somehow. But sitting back and doing nothing is just ensuring that the future generations inherit a worse world than what we're living in right now. I find it strange that the US warns of an imminent attack of 4 guys, yet couldn't warn Israel on the 7th of October that there was an imminent attack of an assembly in Gaza of 5,000 rockets. And I don't think it's any coincidence that what we're seeing happen now in Gaza is by any coincidence either. And if you can turn your blind eye to such atrocities taking place in the world with other people, then, you know, there will be no sympathy from anyone else in this world if ever those atrocities happen to yourselves wherever you may be. Just think about that. We allow and create our own world, and if we allow evil forces and dark forces to run amok of our beautiful world in which we live, then you can only expect one outcome, and that is the sort of outcomes that we are witnessing take place right now. Every single time, innocent people, the general public of these countries, are the ones that are getting, this treatment, let's say. It's not just those things that I've mentioned, that we're seeing farmers that have been in business of farming for generations and generations. Their lands have been passed from their ancestors all around the world. It's not just in Europe, not just in the UK or America, but all around the world. And these officials, with their policies, are making it impossible for these farmers to, go about their normal daily business, just as they've interfered, these dark forces, in industry around the world with their green policies and net zero predictive plans. It's because there's money in bombs, there's money in pharmaceuticals and created viruses, there's money in murdering of innocents for these people. The pharmaceutical industry, the weapon industry, the net zero industry. That's what I say, I invite you. Come and see what else. Because there's a pattern that it doesn't appear that this is going to stop at any given time, because it just seems that as soon as one big thing has left the arena of, the attention of people, the next thing comes along. Somebody's making a lot of money out of all this, and at the cost of human lives. Simple as that. We could be on the precipice of great changes, but changes only come by actions and the will for those changes to take place. But individually we can't do it on our own. So for that reason, I invite you to join me whilst we look at what is taking place in the past and in the present, and what is likely to happen in the future. Let's watch and see how much more atrocities these dark forces can create. And you know what? Using the terminology of dark forces to describe the wicked works of these people is nothing new. Because you know who else I remember vividly talking about these dark forces? The late Her Majesty the Queen. She was talking about these dark forces. So there's nothing new with that terminology. And they're out there. Guys, in a couple of days we're going to be doing a magnetic North Pole positioning for you. The only way you're going to be able to see it, unfortunately, is if you become one of our patrons for $5 a month. We kept it as low as possible. What we're trying to do here is reward those people that support what we do here at the observatory. Simple as that. And there's a link down there in the description if you want to become one of our patrons and supporters. And I'll say what I usually do. You take care of your loved ones, as always. Bye for now.